Please leave a message after the tone.
You got 7 questions due. Your life is going down the tubes. What do you do when you need advice? Swear it gets good. Good night.
What am I fighting for?
So turn down the lights, pick up the phone, and leave a message for the new clan. After dark.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nude Clan After Dark. You know, Jesus Christ. Okay, so every fucking time lately, I don't know what it is, man. My computer, when I click on a sound file, it's just like, oh, did you want your sound to be muted? And I'm like, yeah, that's why I clicked on that MP3 file, is because I don't want to hear it right now. That's why I double-clicked on Nude_After Dark, because I didn't want to hear it. Fucking Christ. I don't know why it does this every fucking time, man. And, like, it doesn't do that when I'm doing anything else online. Like YouTube, it's not like, oh, did you want me to mute your YouTube video that you just barely clicked on? It doesn't do that. But for any MP3 file, fucking each time, the stupid fucking computer mutes it.
You could try going into your volume mix settings and see if you've muted the application.
Maybe at one point I might have, because it was blaring some bullshit, but I can't imagine why I would do that.
I don't know.
But Jesus Christ. Anyway, I'm your host, Caleb Schweiss.
Caleb Craig.
And Cameron.
And today we still have multiple questions on the line, so let's see where we start out.
Hey guys, it's that Death Sword. So, I just read this article about Netflix reconsidering their streaming service in the state of Georgia because Georgia has anti-abortion laws. What kind of fucking stupid idea is that? You're just gonna cut this whole state off because they have different views than you. I've read this, or I've heard this from a bunch of different film companies saying that they won't film in Georgia because of anti-abortion laws. And it's just a stupid ideology that if we have different views on specific things, then we can't get along. And it's so stupid. Like, that's what makes humans unique, is that we are different. But if we don't all agree on the same fucking thing, then, fuck you then. It's just fucking stupid, and I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on it. Thank you.
All right, so Disney recently said they were going to not do that. And Disney also said they were going to fire James Gunn, and they really just slapped him on the wrist, and then we're like, nah, just kidding, you can come back. We don't care about it.
A bunch of people were really pissed off.
Yeah, it's because they're reacting to the public opinion, and they're using it for PR, and then after that's taken care of, they don't actually care. Because they don't actually care, is the whole idea. And honestly, if you do care enough, I don't have a problem with people saying they won't go there, because these are people that aren't going to ever, agree to disagree anyway.
I think it's stupid. The fucking media and other companies should stay out of political shit.
Yeah, but
they ridiculous.
They should, but it's their choice. It's their choice as a business to do what they want to do. Do I think it's a dumb business decision? Sure. But that's their decision
to make. They're just cutting themselves off of, like, a bunch of money for literally no reason. No one is going to attack Netflix because they stream to Georgia. Like,
yeah,
it's a stupid idea
that's
in
true.
general.
No, but it really is these companies taking what they see as the moral high ground. And then Georgia is a state where a lot of
they're doing
film...
it for money. It's not like they actually fucking care.
No, maybe some of them do. It's not... I don't think it's like someone I saw the other day posting like, oh, I don't go to Chick-fil-A because they're an evil corporation, and I looked at Chick-fil-A's deviously evil charitable donation page, and I'm like, ooh, steepled my fingers. I'm like, so evil. Millions of dollars donated to evil corporations. Like fucking, I can't remember what they were, but most of them were pretty legit. And then, of course, there's the gay bashing one, which, whatever. That's fucked up, but the chicken's good enough, so fuck you guys. And like, I'm just like, how is this an evil corporation? And the answer is people see what they want to see. They don't see everything. They see, oh, they donated to this thing that bashes on the gays. Why would they do that? They need their tears for their delicious recipes. This seems like a conflict of interest, and so we will thus not go to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
But really, like, you're even with Death Sword, even with you, you're just seeing it as, oh, they're only doing it because they don't get along. But really, and they might be, but I don't think that's necessarily bad. You know, I think they choose to not represent their business in that way.
Netflix, Disney, Warner Media, AMC Networks, NBC Universal, and CBS Corp. and its Showtime subsidiary have all threatened to pull their business from Georgia.
Jeebus.
And I think a lot of it is just smoke and mirrors too, because like we saw that with Disney and with James Gunn. They said, "Oh, you're fired from Disney. You're not going to direct the next Guardians movie." And now it's like, yeah, just kidding. You're going to direct the next Guardians movie, and that's what makes me feel like they don't actually care.
Film and production is a huge part of Georgia's economy too. So last year, 455 films and television productions generated an estimated $9.5 billion.
Yeah, so that could be crippling for
92,000.
They probably do it there
jobs.
because it's super cheap. So if
4.6
the film industry pulls that,
$4.6 billion in wages. And yeah, that's a lot of money Georgia's going to lose out on.
Yeah, I doubt it'd be all of it, but a pretty big chunk from those large studios. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can have... I feel like for me, I kind of agree, and this is one of the best things that Hillary Clinton ever said. Like, you can have a personal opinion, and you can have a political opinion on stuff. And I think that's a great, great statement. Surprisingly quality. Because, like, I think that's very true. Like, I can be personally opposed to... I think abortions are nasty. It's like a gross thing in my mind, but that doesn't mean I think it should be illegal. And that was the biggest thing after I went off on it on that one episode. They're like, well, making it illegal is not going to make it better. And I was like, I never once mentioned that we should. I just said that I don't know if we should. You know, and that's one of those things where it's like, I might disagree with Netflix or I might disagree with Georgia for doing that, but am I going to pull out my business there because of it? No, I wouldn't, because I am a business and my business model is making money. So I'm going to make money. I shouldn't be held to the standards of, the times. And I feel like people get, once you dabble in this kind of shit, there's almost no getting out. So I think it's better to just not say anything about anything political as a company.
Yeah, that would
and
be,
just leave it alone.
Yeah, that'd be the best thing.
Well, ever since we allowed companies to be people and then they have the right to freedom of speech and to deny service to whomever they choose.
I think they should be able to deny service.
And the one thing that helps push laws the way you want them to is to lobby for it, and the people with the most money can generally push what they want through easier than normal average people.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, as a business, I think you have the right to kind of do whatever you want with your services. No one's owed.
And as a business, they have a right to
pull.
They have a right to not make films where they don't want to make films anymore.
Exactly, yeah. And that's really what it is at the end of the day. I think it's kind of a dumb idea, I guess, because of how nice Georgia is as far as like the lush terrain.
No, there's a
lot
reason why it's one of the best places in the States to make movies.
Yeah,
and
it's
TV
a beautiful
shows.
fucking state.
And I think this just contributes to the finger pointing and the split and divide between people in America. And the more people just start to hate and despise other people just because they have different views, the worse things are going to get.
Yeah. Oh man, Spike Lee is for shutting Georgia down, so I'm already more opposed to pulling out. Fucking Spike Lee's an asshole. But no, really though, it's it's not going to really fix anything, and honestly, it just makes people more divided when you come out with these grandstanding bullshit statements because they're probably not going to follow through with it. You know, we've seen it 1,000 times where they, with Netflix or with other businesses saying, "Oh, we're not going to do this if you guys keep this up," and then they just keep doing it anyway because they're going to make money. That's what they want to do. You know, that's the idea of capitalism, is that it's pure because people are selfish.
Well, they can probably see it this way. If they make, if they take what they see as the moral high ground, then they open themselves up to more money and more deals just because
People are happy with their decision. Yeah.
I don't know about that. Like, it's not like somebody's going to be like, oh, well, McDonald's is trying to be more active and, having vegetarian options. It doesn't mean that a bunch of vegetarians are immediately going to start going to McDonald's.
No, but some might. Some will.
Some might, but it's not going to be like a mass where they could.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like a.
I don't know. We do kind of live in the world of like, do everything you can for the least amount of people possible. Where it's like, oh, do you belong to this 0.01% of human beings? We're going to do all of these awesome
it's like
things.
these companies are just catering to the loudest group of people, and the loudest group of people isn't necessarily the largest group.
Yeah, that's true. And I don't know. It's up to them to cater to whoever they want, but you just can't expect it to work out 100%. And that's why it's just so annoying when they get involved with this kind of stuff, because it's like, can't you just fucking make movies? Can't you just like fucking chill? And I get that they're like, you can be so for or so against something, but you can have that as your personal opinion.
Movies,
you don't have to use your big dick company to fucking show off how you feel about things. Like,
movies,
oh, I'm a standard Californian. Be impressed.
Movies and entertainment are often a reflection of what's going on in the world at the time.
Yeah.
And if they make movies about political unrest or shows about political unrest and then they show one thing on the screen, but then they are in fact giving money to another thing, that might seem disingenuous.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the thing about that, though, is like it's fiction usually, so it's like, is that really disingenuous?
But fiction can oftentimes make a statement of a moral or a view, and that's why entertainment's a reflection of the time it's made in.
Yeah,
I don't know. It doesn't really matter
that's true.
sometimes, because it's not like people are going to be pointing out that, oh, they're making movies in Georgia because
Yes,
and that's
will.
horrible
They
because. Well, no,
Dude,
because nobody's going to point that out to fucking
Twitter-
Netflix. Nobody's going to be like,
Twitter will.
Netflix is streaming to Georgia.
Correct. Well, yeah, streaming
No
to
one's going to
Georgia,
fucking
that's-
research this to
that's
the and even if
stupid. To
they
cut off
it's going to be
customers
like
from
the
watching
tiniest
Netflix is
fucking
stupid.
people just being like, oh, they're doing this horrible thing. It's like everybody who's like, oh, they're clubbing baby seals. It doesn't mean that there's like a shitload of people behind that movement.
Yeah, it's really just the Japanese. That's it.
No, Caleb, them filming in Georgia and giving money to Georgia and to support something that's completely different, they would get called out for that. Just how
And that's
Chick-fil-A,
what's-
They're not
that's
support-
even
it doesn't
how
mean-
Chick-fil-A is being called out
It
for
doesn't mean
donating
that
money
they're
to gay
supporting-
bashing.
It doesn't mean they're supporting the fucking
Yes,
abortions.
they are. No,
it doesn't.
no,
but that's
not
what
not
people
abortions.
people have that lack of connection. They have logical fallacies.
They're giving money to Georgia, which in turn gives money
fucking
towards
supports
their
all of their
laws.
people, which
Yeah.
fucking does a bunch of other shit. Abortions are the
taxes to
tiniest
Georgia.
fucking thing. So it's like they're just being retarded. That is
No.
literally what they are.
It's not being. It's so the whole situation itself is stupid, but they're not necessarily being retarded. They're doing what they see as right with their company, and they're making they're making a moral high ground and standing on it. And that, I feel, is what it's about.
And there's something to say about that. There really is. Like, to be like, no, I'm not going to go do that because I think that's not the right thing to do. That would be like someone coming to us and saying, oh, hey, do you want to not do Nude Clan ever again, but you can do this podcast and we'll give you $1 million. I mean, there's a good chance I might say yes, just say fuck it and like come up with like Clothed Clan later or do something else. But like, it's like one of those, like, if you have the ability to say no to something that you're just not for in the face of all of these millions of dollars that you might lose out on, that's admirable. It might be stupid business-wise, but it's admirable, and a lot of people will respect that.
Well,
But it's really who do you want to cater to?
Well, here there's it's man, this is like a huge divide and has been for years. Everything around abortion laws.
Yeah.
And so there are definitely two huge sides to this argument, and it just so happens that most of the entertainment industry is solidly on one side of it.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that Georgia relies a lot on the entertainment industry, even though they lean much more on the other side of the argument.
Yeah, true. It's just a recipe for disaster, really.
And so in a way, this is kind of like blackmailing or forcing Georgia into doing what the entertainment industry wants them to do.
Yeah, I don't think they will, though. I don't think they care. And I think the entertainment industry will give in. At least a certain amount of them will still continue to work there, and they will just suck it up because that's what they do.
Well, hopefully, but you don't know.
Yeah, we never know. I mean, and if they don't, it's just like with the Grand Tour show. You know, they got dropped from their one thing. The one guy's like, "Well, I just bought this Lamborghini. Like, I don't have money to pay for this shit," and picked him up like immediately.
They have money, so the whole thing
It's
is
Amazon. Amazon picked him up,
Yeah.
and now they got their show because they were super non-PC on that shit.
Yeah,
was
so
fucking
super
great.
non-PC. Jeremy Clarkson had a whole bunch of complaints against him just because he was, I don't know if he's straight up racist or just an asshole to people, but that's just how he is. But what really got him let go is I don't know if it was the producer, someone on set, but he decked him. And,
Oh, really?
And that's what got him dropped.
I could see
That's
that.
what got Jeremy Clarkson dropped. And the other two hosts, Hammond and James May, they didn't want to continue the show without Jeremy Clarkson because they're the trio. It's their differences that push the show forward. And so
Yeah.
they decided to drop with them. And as soon as all three of them dropped, Amazon's like, well, everyone, the public wants to keep these guys going.
Yeah.
So we're going to pick them up.
Dude, I bet you it's like
And
it's
they
just,
probably make a lot more money with Amazon.
It's just this fucking thing where like they're in their boardroom and they're like, "Oh my god, I don't know what we're gonna do," and then like the lights turn off, they hear the door open to the boardroom, and then Jeff Bezos just walks in his underwear. It's like, "Boys, I have a deal for you." And just like this, the only light in the entire building just shines right above Jeff Bezos.
The only issue is the platform.
Shiny bald ass head.
The only issue, the platform that picked him up is Amazon, and so everyone has to have Amazon Prime in order to watch it, which probably got a ton of new subscribers to Amazon Prime. But let's be real, Amazon Prime is not the place people go to watch TV shows.
No, I used to use it, but
It's something that someone would watch because they have
pretty
Amazon
decent
Prime for another reason.
It has a good amount of TV shows and movies, though.
I feel like I don't
And-
utilize
and
it.
they're starting to make their own TV shows like Netflix and stuff, so they're getting better quality. Like I just started watching that Good Omens, which is pretty good on there.
Yeah, we're gonna also
We'll see.
get the Lord of the Rings and the Wheel of Time stuff through Amazon. I think Wheel of Time was Amazon.
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
So we'll have reasons in the future to have Amazon, and plus,
I hope they don't shit all over it.
it's like $100 for the year, so I mean it's
Yeah,
super cheap, and then you can do the monthly thing.
Remember at that tweet I sent out about, or that Reddit post from Brandon Sanderson, how they're already changing things.
You know,
They be meddling already.
some of those changes
Could be good
man.
for the screen, but who knows? He couldn't say.
well, isn't that
I-
nice though that you go in not knowing every single thing?
Mostly what I hope
Yeah.
is that they just like make things more consistent timeline wise.
I think
Some of
they'll
those
make
books
it.
jump around.
I think they'll make it more woman centric, and
It's already
they'll make
very woman centric.
Yeah, but it's very negative, dude.
No, it's
no,
not.
fuck you. It isn't.
No, dude.
The
it is-
Aes Sedai,
no,
them and their
hey,
meddling
dude,
ways.
It is fucking sexist on both sides, like in an insane amount.
Dude.
All right, so it is fine.
I think it's kind of misogynistic. I really do. Can you not?
it's
Can you
not.
not?
It's
Dude,
fucking-
at the very beginning, he talks
every-
about all Aes Sedai are all
Okay.
women and they're all schemers.
You've
and they're all
listened to
plotters.
a tiny part
and
of
the
it.
women are always trying to
the rest
undercut
of
the
the-
authority by the men,
the
always
rest of the-
undercutting, always
The
scheming.
rest of the fucking series
they're in
is
charge.
entirely just
Yeah.
women saying how fucking childish and stupid men are. The entire fucking
I mean,
series
his
is
wife
just that.
His wife said it's due knockback,
and
but
you probably believe Stephen Colbert is a very strong white wing commentator.
yeah. Seriously though, dude, it's not that it's bad. I was just like, well, damn, that's a stance there. Just like those fucking
No,
scheming
definitely.
women.
If you can read through it, it feels like a guy who's very put out and distrustful of women. Who
Yeah,
really-
it's almost like it almost reminds me of fucking The Room. It's like Tommy Wiseau got hurt real bad by some chick like 20 years ago, and he's like, "I'm going to make a movie about this."
It's sexist in both directions. It's fuck off.
a little bit maybe, but I think it was trying to get at a point.
I have like 10 hours left of the last book, and I've been going through it, and it is very sexist on both sides.
It's not that you reading the book is what I doubt. It's your opinions formulated afterwards.
No, dude, seriously, go through it again. It is literally like both back and forth. They have like fucking misogynist and fucking just like against dudes the whole time.
I don't know.
Yeah, certain things about that book do get tiring.
I will
That
go through
series.
it. I will go through it.
Um,
But that's
no, so
something
they
I
are
noticed.
going to change stuff, and Brandon Sanderson feels like it's going to be for the better. So we'll see.
Well, if he thinks it's for the better, then it's probably for the
I
better.
hope they like just bring out more of those character building moments,
Yeah,
because they don't have like a lot of where like Rand is just talking to the buddies. They don't have a lot of that.
yeah.
There needs to be kind of a little more slowdown in some parts.
Broing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's our opinion on that. Let's see what else we have. Let's see how much further we can dig on Graves today.
Hey guys, I got another one. So this was something I was talking over with my wife, I don't know, a couple weeks ago maybe. And something I kind of realized that I just I don't know, man. Some people are good at it, some people aren't, but I'm definitely not naturally good at being married. And I think a lot of that goes back to the fact that I don't really know how to be on a team in general. Because I've never done that. I've never played team sports. I've played video games with people a lot, but generally not really on a team, except maybe shooters, but you don't really have to cooperate and sacrifice shit for I don't know, maybe more long-term benefit and progress. And my activity of choice is climbing, which is a pretty individualistic thing. So I'm just pretty individualistic and don't really know how to work with other people that well, I guess. Even though I got to do it with my job sort of as much as I have to, but not if I don't have to. So I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts are. If you feel like maybe you've had similar experiences and maybe tips on how to learn that skill of working on a team or things you can do. Obviously something that comes to my mind is maybe escape rooms and other team building shit. But yeah, curious what you guys think, and I'll probably call you again. See ya.
All right, so he sounds like a guy that likes to steal people's goals in Rocket League and steal people's zombie kills and COD zombies to rack up all the points for himself. I understand where you're coming from. I've been known to do that on occasion.
On occasion.
Yeah. And sometimes you just want to score so badly that you just dunk it in your own fucking net in Rocket League because you're getting bored.
You just want to have a good time?
Yeah, I want everyone to have a good time. Everyone needs to have a good time. And if they're not scoring, they're not having a good time on the enemy team, and they don't want a rematch. So I'll tap one in every so often for them just to make sure they're having a good time. I don't know, man. That's kind of tough. I don't know how to really approach that.
It's a complicated one for sure. There's a lot of feelings involved, both for you and your wife. And you have to realize that your wife had a life going for her. She had her own goals, her own desires, and what she wants to do. And now you're trying to merge your goals and her wants, and your goals and your wants with hers to work on both your separate things together, because now, you are technically a team. And the relationship like that, does not come naturally to a lot of people. It's definitely something that requires a lot of work. But if you love that other person, then that's something that you're willing to put in the time to do. But that's not to erase who you are. If you're very individual, and you're very much individual, like to do your own thing and work on your own thing, and then trying to work with someone else is stifling, it feels like it's too hard to do, then there's just, things you have to look at, because it's coming together two individuals. You're not becoming one person. You're just becoming two people who are different but are working together.
Yeah.
And the best thing to do is to talk to her, just like, ask her the same thing you just asked us. I feel like that by itself would do a lot more to get you both on the same track. And even though you like to do things on your own, like climbing is a very individual sport, you can invite her along. She might not like it, but if she likes you, she might want to support you in your activity. You can take her to, do some easier climbs, just so she becomes familiar with your hobby. And then the reverse should happen. You should do the same things with her. And over time, as you guys continue to share in each other's hobbies, you come to realize that, you're kind of mixing the two together, and you're more of a team on things like that.
Yeah. It's also not a bad thing to have something that's just yours.
No,
either.
100%. You need to have your own things that you do.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people get caught up in the materialistic views, or the materialism of their partners, where they're like, oh, we both like this, we both do that, we both do this, and I feel like a lot of those relationships don't seem to work because you're almost too similar.
So another question is how much does she depend on you? Is she more of an individual herself, or does she tend to always need you around all of the time? And then sometimes that can start to feel a little claustrophobic, because you are an individual and you enjoy your alone time, you enjoy climbing, and then she doesn't like those times that you're gone. To her, does she have a close group of friends? Does she feel like she's alone when you're off doing your stuff like that? And some people do act like that, where they just need that other person around all the time, just because they need that person to feel happy when they're around. And that's not a good thing as well. I'm not saying... What are we getting at? It's just that they need to be able to, be happy on their own without someone around. They shouldn't need to have someone around them all of the time. They need to have their own personal things that they do that makes them an individual. Like, again, when you married someone, your identity isn't gone. You're still you, but now you have someone else that you're making time for, that live with, and that you work together on goals with life, like house, jobs, and progressing forward in that sense. But then you still need to hold on to your individual identity, because that's who you were. And then stifling that, you just won't be happy. It's just how it is.
Yeah, it takes a lot, though. I mean, and you have to you just have to come out and say like what you want. If you want her to be part of this, and this, but not this other thing, because that's just kind of like your alone time, your kind of like meditation time almost. Your time to be totally isolated and just get that release. Because I mean, for us, for me at least, it's every year or so, just going on like a trip, like a great hike, or like somewhere out in the middle of nowhere, is like just a really good reset. I don't really have to be alone for that, obviously, but it's nice to kind of put most of the stresses of life away, and then they just kind of like melt off, when you go out and you do your reset thing. So maybe you have that on like a smaller scale with the climbing, and that might be your escape from life, and doing it alone isn't a bad thing. It's just a thing where you need to kind of set those boundaries up and just say, hey, this is something that I want to do with you, or this is something that I kind of want to just have as my alone time, because I'm kind of a loner. It's not really bad, but like Cameron said, it can be bad if they feel like they have to be around you, all the time. Especially for you, it can be bad, because if you're not that way and they are very much that way, it's going to cause conflict for sure. Also, I just realized this guy sent us like 4, and we read the last one, so we got plenty of ones for next time, I guess. Do you guys want to do one more, or do you want to
Yeah.
You want to?
And
Yeah,
again, the
we can do
first
another
thing you should do is discuss this with your wife.
Yeah. Do you want to do another one of his, or should we save?
Let's
the
do another
rest?
one of I don't know.
Let's do a different one.
Okay. We'll save the rest of yours for next time, dude. Sorry, I didn't realize that. So, see what else we have. Let's try it again.
Hey guys, it's the janitor. Thanks for your advice on the last question. My question this week, I work at a middle school and there's this teacher whose classroom I clean and he's just an absolute slob. I mean, just his classroom is disgusting. He's always leaving rotten food and
Ugh.
he's awful. But he's actually leaving this year, so I want to figure out something to send him on his way. Maybe a good prank or something. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thank you. Bye.
Last second prank of the slob teacher. Huh? I can't imagine like having someone else clean up after you and being that much of a
Who
slob.
leaves
like,
fucking rotting food in a classroom?
I don't know. Maybe they don't clean it super. I don't know.
It could,
How-
I don't know, like in
does it
their
rot?
office
Yeah.
area, the office space, they could probably just leave like lunch food like sitting on a windowsill or something around their desk, and it just gets old and then starts to rot.
Yeah, but like the kids would be in there and they would see stuff like that. Like, how do you just leave it there rotting?
On his desk, I guess.
I don't know. Yeah.
Just somewhere around. Sounds like he's a slob, though.
It's like the cupocalypse, but it's like food containers with food in them instead. So it's the Tupperware, the Tupocalypse.
You mean what Cody's room looked like? So,
Yeah.
So
Oh.
Cody would just leave food rotting in his room.
Oh, dude, he had like plates like everywhere in his room that had like mold on them.
Yep.
Oh man, do you remember when we bumped the fucking crock pot when it had that pork that was like ancient? It was like the pork of
Release the spores.
Oh yeah, and it released it, and I was like, "Oh my god, dude! Oh, that is so bad." Yeah, so I guess we just have to imagine it's that in an office from a teacher. What do you do to get back at him though?
You have to do something that is sufficiently petty enough, but not something that will get you in trouble for doing.
Yeah, you can't like put like bologna on his car and eat the paint away or anything like
Bologna
that.
on the car.
Yeah.
Since he leaves food around, ants love food, and then we don't like ants inside the office. But what if ants were to get into some of his stuff?
Yeah, just stick some of that rotting food like in his briefcase or like in his bag or something like that.
No, he'd know someone did it. But then, of course, that's what you want. But then with schools and stuff, they're recording everything all the time, and so if you're not careful, it'll show you putting food in his stuff.
What?
All right, so here's what you need to do. You need to go to Walmart.com and buy liquid ass fart spray. Nasal. Oh, wait, no. Liquid ass fart spray, nasty foul gas smell, stink bomb, funny prank joke, gag gift. And you need to spray it in his intake on his car so that whenever he's pulling air from the outside, it just smells like ass.
Yeah?
Just fucking ass. Apparently Walmart doesn't have it anymore, but you can find stuff like that online. One of the old guys at Hostess, he used to do that to the fucking Asian dude.
What?
That he couldn't, he hated because like the guy would piss in his truck, and he said there was one time where he like pissed in his truck and he was looking at him like while he was doing it, because like he would just like, when the stores weren't open yet, he would just see the guy, his name was Ken, like just stand up and like just be like looking out the window, and then like he would place this bottle on like his dash, and it would be like he would have pissed in his bottle because he didn't want to wait for the store to open up, and actually urinate in the bathroom. So this guy, he didn't really care for him that much, and he sprayed this like foam stuff that like just smelled like shit in his like in the front of his car and like inside, and it just like whenever he turned the air on, it just sucked it in there. And he said he did it so much that like when the guy turned the air on, it just like pulled the little foam stuff into the air intake. It was just like flying everywhere in the cab. And it was really bad though. But I think that would be a fun one. Just like make it smell like shit all the time when the guy's driving.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah. And then since you called in, I kind of do want to hear an update about Creepy Guy.
Yeah.
Kind of want to know what happened with that.
Yeah, man, we got to have follow through. You know, that's like the name of the game when you're playing golf or bowling or any old man sport. You got to have that follow through, or else it's not going to work out. So let us know, yeah, and everybody let us know what you used our advice for good or ill. Yeah, so I think something like that would be pretty fun. I don't know. The rest of them, because pranks are tough because so many of them are like, I don't know, like kind of really negative and not cool. And you don't want to do anything to like get in trouble. But I think having something like smell like shit would kind of be perfect. Because he's just kind of a shitty guy. It sounds like shitty, messy man. Maybe find one that like smells like garbage, like a garbage dump, and then spray that inside of his car.
What would you describe like the garbage dump smell?
Just rot.
Yeah, rotting fruit, rotting just everything.
Yeah, everything sweet rot. That's what I would probably say.
Sweet rot?
Yeah.
That sweet, sweet rot.
Yeah. It sounds like a Metallica song from Saint Anger.
Yeah. That one in Springville always smells like dusty furniture and fucking like old garbage.
Depends again on the dump you're at and how they have things organized and what you yourself are dumping. If you're dumping more along the lines of like mainstream trash, then you get to go to the part of the dump that does stink. If you're dumping more like furniture or appliances, they generally try to recycle some of it, and so you dump it in a totally separate area, and you don't have to smell that stuff.
Mm-hmm. True, yeah. And if you're doing like grass clippings, it's gonna smell like asshole because it's
probably gonna smell like grass clippings.
One, they fertilize it, and two, it becomes rotting foliage, and that smells awful.
Do you think they compost it and sell it?
I do. Yeah, the one in Provo definitely does.
So they probably mix some manure in there too.
Yeah, so it actually smells like shit. And I work right next to it, and sometimes when I leave or am going on break, it's just a waft of shit. It's horrible. And then like the candle company that I work right next to is also like trying to overpower it with their candle scent, and it's just gross. It's like a super BO heavy person just dousing themselves with Axe.
I work across there's a big street I work between where I work and where the Butcher's is in Draper, and every now and then they'll get a delivery of cattle, and you can smell it. Yeah, super strong.
God.
Yeah, there's some farms around where I work, but I can't smell
And
anything through the sawdust.
It's kind of sobering because one day there'll be a super strong stench of cattle, and the next day it's gone. I wonder why.
The next day it just smells like sweet, sweet beef. All cuts. That is kind of odd. And that makes the food like almost disturbing, like when you think about what actually goes into it. But then I just eat it anyway. I don't know. Just thinking like this thing used to be alive, and now I'm eating it.
I mean, it's easier when it's not something that's clearly an organ.
Yeah, like it's like a finger, you know. Like it's like, well, this is clearly a body part. I don't know if I want to eat this. I like liver.
I mean, the rest of the meats is kind of like ambiguous to what it is, so it's like it's all right.
Yeah, especially if you get like hot dogs or bologna, it's real ambiguous as to what it is. Then
I mean, you know what's in there, but then again, it doesn't taste like that, so it's fine.
Unless you're eating Bar S, and then it does taste like they boiled the flesh off the chicken's face and just fucking stuffed it in a tube. Kind of does taste like that. If I'm going to be honest, but most of the time,
You getting them chicken hot dogs?
Dude, the Bar S ones have everything in them. It's like so they got like, I imagine like a huge counter space.
I've had some little pieces of bone in mine before.
Oh, that's disgusting.
You just know that you just
chicken
know,
nuggets,
you just
and it's the
know
worst.
They are scraping the bone on that one to get every little last piece off of it.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm fine with that. Sometimes you just have to, you have a Bar S paycheck, and that's what you got to do.
A bar ass paycheck.
I don't know.
I mean, I haven't had bar ass in years, so.
Dude, it is terrible. It is so gross.
But bar ass was probably a staple of my household.
It was, yeah.
yeah.
And, oh, man, when I see little kids just eating them, I'm like, oh, my God, what is wrong with you?
Don't eat them.
Did you know there's higher quality beefs?
It's not even beef.
They don't make any money.
Yeah.
And so another thing for me, I'm kind of one of those guys who can eat hot dogs cold. And I judge my hot dog based off of whether or not I can stomach eating it cold. There's certain hot dogs I can do just fine cold.
Oh, dude.
But the best quality hot dog I've had, then taste-wise, I can't eat it cold because it's too full of fat, too slimy.
Is
when
it
you
the
actually
Jew
eat it.
Dogs?
No.
The Hebrew National? Oh.
No, it's the all-natural beef dogs, the Applegate stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And
those
so
are
when you
good.
cook them up or fry them up, they're
Applegate's pretty good.
so fucking good. But it's just they have a lot of actual fat in it, so you just can't eat it.
Yeah,
raw.
when you bite into that raw and it's that cold fat running into your mouth, you just want to throw
you know
up.
how how the church has like those meat packing plants.
The church, you mean the church or the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints?
The
other
Mormon
known as
church.
the Mormons, because they don't
Yes,
want to.
I say the church because it's like the only one here. Yeah, I volunteered at the meat packing plant once, and like I just did not want to eat hot dogs for like a month afterwards.
Huh. I've been through a hot dog processing thing before, and I
Yeah.
could eat a hot dog right afterwards.
It smells awful.
It smells awful, yeah, for sure.
It's
That's what
it's
meat
like-
smells like.
No, dude, it's like concentrated hot dog water. That is what that smell is, and it is fucking awful.
Can you imagine going home smelling like that?
I can, yes.
Man, you know what I miss? I miss my hot dog steamer. That's the way to make a hot dog. You get it, the little steamer, and then like the steam rises into it, and it just cooks that hot dog, and it's so fluffy and so perfect.
Oh, I love dipping it in cornmeal and then frying it, so you get that sweet corn dog.
Corn dogs are pretty good too. Yeah, corn dogs are really good actually. Like
I
a
fucking-
hot
you
dog
get it-
on a
I'm gonna
stick.
just
You
I'm
get
gonna
like
just go
a
make a
crispy
corn dog.
corn dog.
I'm gonna just go home and make a corn dog. That sounds great.
Yeah, man.
Fucking
Like
corn dogs are amazing.
I missed that hot dog on a stick in that Provo Mall. That was so good. It's like it seems so fucking lame, but then when they just fry that fucker up and it's so fresh.
Yeah, I
and-
know. You ever get those like
golden
frozen
brown.
ones, and then you like stick it on a buttered pan? Oh man,
That
It's
sounds
so
pretty good.
Yeah.
And the frozen ones I used to always microwave. I don't know why the fuck I would ever do that.
I mean, it's
It makes it
easier.
soggy.
I
but,
mean,
like,
you can microwave it for a little bit just to like make it so that the fryer is
quicker.
yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to dethaw.
Oh man, I got my mom an air fryer for Christmas, and you get some of those mini corn dogs, and you stick that in the air fryer. Oh man, those things become fucking awesome.
Air fryer.
Yeah,
What-
dude.
What is that?
It's like a deep fryer, but it doesn't use oil. And you just stick the food in there, then you set it for a time, and then it's like cooks them.
What does it
like a
use
fryer.
to air?
I guess. Yeah, it just fucking does it.
I mean-
it's fucking magic.
Air versus fat. Which would you rather?
I highly recommend getting an air fryer and then trying fucking mini corn dogs in that method.
Is it healthier?
I think so. Yeah, it doesn't
Probably
use
is.
it doesn't use
No extra
oil
fat.
at all. Yeah, so it's supposed to be a healthier way to do stuff.
Huh. Okay.
Hmm.
It's also a decent way to cook pot stickers if you want them like.
I was going to
crispy.
I was going to get one of those pressure cookers, and I probably want one of those bread makers, and maybe now an air fryer.
Yeah. What about an ice cream making machine?
Those are really hard to use.
Yeah, I imagine because every time you go somewhere, they're like, "Oh, our ice cream machine is down." It's like, what do you even have ice cream?
Oh, I have. My grandma has an old school ice cream making machine, and it's brutal.
Yeah,
Yeah, it takes forever.
it's one of those ones like where it's the bowl. And you have to,
It's like a giant bowl with like a weird mixing machine that you put on top of it. You
Yeah,
have to keep
yeah.
it in like a frozen area. Yeah,
yeah, those are brutally. Those are. It's fun to make.
that's
your own ice
the
cream.
only ice cream machine that I know of.
Well, now that we're super far away from the question,
I don't even remember what it was.
prank.
Oh, right.
Yeah, thanks for calling in, guys. I think that's it. You guys good? We good? Got
Yep.
anything else out of the way?
Good.
Yeah?
Good.
All right, well, hope you enjoyed this episode of After Dark. 385-204-3921. That's where you can call us. Give us your questions. We'll give you our advice. Till next time, guys. We'll see you.
Mankind has always been poison.
Give up on yourselves. Give up on the world.
Every puzzle has an answer. Dumbass. Kick logic out and do the impossible. Remember that.
I'm glad I met you guys. You made me pick apart things I probably would have just gone on ignoring.